Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting edition of In This Very Ring, right here live on A2D Radio. I am the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. I am Rich, and joining me as he does each and every single Friday night, the mayor of Toasty Town. This is Butters. No, nothing.
You didn't see me, did you?
No, because in the back end of StreamYard here, we've got where we're at live and everything, and the Facebook icon looks weird. So I was double checking to make sure that it was actually going to A2D's Facebook.
He missed the pose.
Oh well. And ladies and gentlemen, the OGP of A2D, Mr. Pete Evans.
I hate my salutation, my dear Earthlings.
My dear Earthlings, this man says. We are brought to you by our friends at Baggio's Bread. Baggio's Bread, located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Home of the best stuffed bread, tomato pie, sandwich, cutlets, and meatballs. Mention A2D Radio for 10% off your in-store purchase. Football is here. Get your spread with Baggio's Bread. I'm going to beat you the next time you talk during my read. I'm just going to skip a lot of steps and just beat.
Bring it to big boy.
He could have said raw meatball. That would have been more fitting.
Don't help him. He's not that smart.
I'm more of a cooked meatball myself.
I do a show with idiots. With absolute idiots. But we are the best three-man team here on A2D Radio. There's no doubt about it. But tonight we are talking about a different three-man team. We are talking about the New Day.
Because it's a blue day. Yes, it is.
And the question is, following the events of Monday night and the 10th anniversary of the New Day, it was time to split up the New Day. Agree, disagree. Butters, this is your brainchild because Pete and I were absolutely useless this week. What do you got?
You're lucky. You're lucky I'm on this week. I was supposed to be off. Sorry. I'm going to agree to the poll. It was time to split up the New Day, but I don't think it was the right way to split up the New Day in a sense.
Oh, I can't wait for this. Elaborate, please.
I feel like they should have just completely split the New Day. Like, everybody go their own singles way. No more the tag stuff. Give me the single stuff now. Give Xavier something. Give him a singles title finally. Get Kofi elsewhere. We know Big E might not be coming back for a hot minute. That's understandable. I get why you broke him up. You don't think so?
No, I'm going to let you finish.
But
we're not Kanye-ing this.
But it was time to split them up. But again, as I said, they should have been split up all the way, not just 2-on-1 heel turn.
Okay. Hopefully you've got some more as we progress.
Mr. Evans. What would you have done differently as you expound on your answer to tonight's poll question?
You take Xavier's frustrations and you have him just take out Kofi blatantly and leave Big E.
And leave Big E just kind of like having to deal with the aftermath, knowing he can't get physical?
Exactly.
Okay.
All right. Interesting take. Mr. Evans?
I completely disagree with Butters. So, which means I agree to the poll. Just because you have the beard of Butters Von Viking, whatever you want to call yourself.
It's the third man in the War Raiders.
It's the Navigator. With the Moscow Mule.
With the Moscow Mule Cup.
With the Moscow Mule Cup. No, honestly, it definitely was time. And here's the thing. They did it in a way, and I'm glad we got that Monday out of what we saw tonight, because it was done in a way that we did not see this outcome happening. We did not see them 2 versus 1 using E's real life trials and tribulations to the advantage or disadvantage for them. They said you left, like you still kind of didn't know. We all kind of knew that Woods was the one that was kind of pushing the horse forward to lead to the potential breakup. It wasn't until that moment to where Woods says, enough, you left us. And then we didn't know kind of where Kofi was at. And then Kofi said, you left us. Obviously, he said in a lot higher pitch, more umph with the chest. But that's when it really got interesting because you're like, okay, we didn't see this. We didn't see this. Now, I could have seen a route where they turned Kofi on Woods or Woods on Kofi, but I didn't see them using E's real life as a catalyst for them to then come to one accord, not have any accountability for their own actions, have that one common goal and common thread to where they both feel like E left them. And then now E is really excommunicated from the group. I like that, which made me not like what I saw tonight on SmackDown with DIY, because I felt as if that was that's kind of redundant. You do two face teams in 1 week, and it was different paths. But with the New Day, I'm very curious to see, because like we said before, we were talking about this 3, 4, 5 weeks ago. This is a situation now. Yeah, they're true heels, right?
Right.
But now this is kind of like I remember Rich, you had said, I don't really. What if they don't break up? But what if they have an edge to them? What if they have a new look? What if they have something, a new attitude? Well, they definitely have that and then some. But now here's the thing: what do you do with it from here? These dudes have to win every match. Every match that they're in, or something like they have to win.
They need to go on a tear.
Yeah, like they need to go on a run. Like that whole New Day jobbing and all that stuff. Nah. That has to change, and they have to maybe take the tag titles off Judgment Day. You know what I mean? And then have a feud with the War Raiders. You can see that because now you have another heel team on Raw.
Correct.
That's not Akam and Razor who are involved with the Wyatt Six. Now you have another heel tag team that is now on Raw that you can utilize when you're about to go back to 3 hours in the next 3 to 4 weeks. You need that. And then it's something different. Like they've been around 10 years in this fashion. This is almost the closest thing that you would have gotten to a John Cena heel-esque turn, because these dudes had so much merch. They had unicorns, they had bootios, they had the pancakes, they had it all. You know what I mean? They had it all. They were hosting WrestleMania. They brought back the Hardys. You know what I mean? They introduced the Hardys when they came back. So they were super over like Rover, bro. Like, so to see that, and now to them just pretty much cut these legs from underneath of them. And now it's like, hey, like you left us. You're the reason we were thinking about you the whole time while we were all beefing. And that is partly true. Like, why didn't you come around earlier? Even though you didn't have to be physical, you can't be physical. You could have came around earlier and talked to us. And you could have tried to quell the dissension between us. You could have tried to put out that fire. All of a sudden, now on our 10-year celebration, where people have forgotten about you, now you want to come back. You want to come in and save the day, and you want to be a manager for us. Now you want to be around every week. Nah, that don't fly. And honestly, in real life situations with groups like that of friends, I have seen that happen.
Yeah.
And the beauty about this is they can beef for a little bit, and we don't know if he's ever going to come back. But if he does, who's to say he's going to come back and then automatically feud with them? He could then come back and say, I seen the error in my ways. You were right. Let's now go kick some ass. Probably won't happen, but
no. And I think that what they did Monday night was they set themselves up in such a position for honestly an incredible WrestleMania triple threat.
So you still, at that point, from now until Mania, you think that the rift between, even though we saw Monday night, Kofi and Woods come back together in one accord because they had a common enemy, right? So to speak, you think through the weeks moving forward now, there's going to still, months moving forward, there's still going to be some dissension enough to the point where these two are going to want to end up standing out on their own.
I think they're going to be on the same page up until about Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber time frame is somewhere in there, because Kofi is we're somehow going to get the Intercontinental title on Kofi.
Okay.
And I think Sheamus takes it off of Braun, and then Kofi takes it off of Sheamus. Kofi now has another singles title, while Xavier still doesn't. Xavier, in his head, knows he can beat Kofi. So now we're setting up for Kofi versus Woods at WrestleMania. You add in the element of Big E, who I think we did this because Big E is cleared or set to be cleared.
Right. Good news for him to be cleared, because I told you that Monday night. I said this is good, but this can be great and epic. But E has to make it back, and that's out of our control. That's out of your control. That's out of Tripp's control. That is not in our hands.
Right, and I think that you can have him come back, because if E is cleared, let's just say Jan 1, E's cleared. Excuse me. The first thing everybody's going to want is that New Day feud. So rip the Band-Aid off, right? Rip it off and immediately do this thing leading into WrestleMania. We never got a true triple threat with the Shield. We never, no faction have we ever gotten a true triple threat or multi-man match or whatever have you at the end of it. And then this is exactly what you do in that match. You have Xavier pin Kofi. So now Xavier gets the title. Big E is protected. He never technically lost. Kofi goes away. I think Kofi calls it a career. But in that moment, in that ring in Las Vegas, with Xavier holding the title, I think you start to see Kofi and Big E kind of start to walk away. And Xavier's in the ring celebrating. He's by himself. And I think they turn around and go back. And that final shot is the New Day celebrating Xavier for, what he has done, knowing that Kofi's going to go away, knowing that Big E is going to go and do his own thing. This is truly the last moment. So the final chapter, the final page in the book of the New Day has Xavier winning the title.
The ride off into the sunset moment.
Yeah, that ride off. Well, and so, because I think then the next night, while WrestleMania, that moment was for Woods. The next night, Woods is out. He's doing a celebration, this, that, and the other thing. And he announces Kofi's retirement. He calls Kofi out. And gives him that moment. Because I think we should normalize celebrating people when they retire in an arena full of people on the air. Right? It doesn't have to be a Ric Flair style thing. It doesn't have to be an Undertaker style thing.
Right.
But especially somebody like Kofi, who has his entire career was in WWE. Right? And some like what, almost 20 years.
Yeah, he's 43 now.
Yeah, he's done it all, and I think after the New Day, there's nothing left for him to do. Right, so you let him go work in NXT. If he wants to work in NXT, his in-ring career is done, and I think you build towards that. I think that for me at least, as I sit and I think about WrestleMania. When I think of moments and matches that are something that I'm going to want to see, and that I think just have that WrestleMania caliber match and feel, it's the New Day against each other for that title, where Xavier finally gets his singles run. And then he goes off, and I think Xavier has something almost like a Kofi Kingston style career, where he is a multi-time mid-card champion, eventually makes it to the mountaintop later down the line, right? And continues that legacy and that career that Kofi had and Kofi created for a lot of people. Because you got to think about it. You think about Woods and you think about Big E, right? Kofi was already on the main roster.
Yep.
And has been wrestling for a while. So they kind of look up to him.
I think Big E has one of, if not the longest NXT heavyweight championship reigns.
Possibly.
And he never, I don't think he ever lost it.
And let's go back 2 weeks, a week maybe. They come out, Kofi.
Never.
Just to annoy him. They come out dressed as Goku and Goku Black.
Okay.
Right? And so if you're not familiar,
I would say, I don't know if I said this, E and Woods are both 38. So they're not spring chickens, bro.
No, not at all. But I still think Woods could go, and because again, Goku Black took over Goku's body and had, started living Goku's life. Kofi Xavier could start living Kofi's career and do it in a shorter time and different things like that, yada yada yada. So I think it's phenomenal. What I did not like about Monday, when you have, and again, I'm very much into celebrations. I'm very much into acknowledging these feats and this, that, and the other things. I think you could do the segment, you could do the 10-year anniversary without there having to have been that turn at the end, without leaving people going, what the hell just happened? It's not a bad thing. Let me be very, very clear. I don't think Monday was bad, just for me, and because it was almost like, all right, we know there's a turn coming. Right. To your point, Pete, it was like, oh, we didn't expect them to turn on Big E.
Right.
But it was still, I still knew sitting down to watch that segment, somebody's turning on somebody. Somebody's walking out of here a bad guy tonight.
It's almost like you kind of wanted that happy ending for a 10-year segment because it never really happens in the WWE.
Exactly. It's almost like the weddings, the old thing.
Right. Like the weddings it felt like the celebration was just a gimmick to get to something. It was just a stepping stone to get to something else.
Even like a contract signing or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Now the only thing I would say is like you sat down and you watched this after what we have seen. They slow played it. Some people that we know think they slow played it too slow play. And then last Monday when we had the backstage when they were throwing each other, like it all ended the Kofi Mania all ended the Brock Lesnar in 8 seconds. Woods, why do you think you never had a single championship? Why do you think me and E never let you run with the ball? You never were good enough. So we had that. And then coming into Monday, you knew when you watched it, like the New Day and that iteration of what we've known for that first 10 years is never going to be the same.
Right.
And it really technically hasn't been the same since April of 2022. It hasn't been the same since E, unfortunately, don't know what happened. We can go back and forth, who I think is going to be your future NXT champion. We'll get to that later in tonight's show. But when E broke his neck, so you knew that was going to happen. What I like about this, and this is one of the things I've missed, is I've missed New Day Feel the Power, the weekly podcast, for years. It's been about 2 years now since I think they've done it. And when you go watch Up, and Down, if you ever get the chance, you go watch Kofi play. That's the Kofi that we're about to see. The trash talking, I'm overconfident, I believe in myself. That's the Kofi you're going to see.
I can some of those early Madden tournaments.
I can almost see a point to where we're getting, even if E isn't cleared, I do like the idea of Kofi having a singles title. There being friction between them two, Woods versus Kofi, and Big E is at ringside. He's still
he's a special guest referee,
something, and then ultimately he counts it. Whatever Woods goes over, Kofi's finally humble. You still get that celebration in the ring, and you kind of go from there. Mm-hmm. Or could you have at that point E not be special guest referee, just kind of be bipartisan? And then ultimately he makes a determination to then turn on Kofi to give Woods the title, what have you, who knows. But knowing them, they've probably already talked about this with Trips. They have a way they want this to play out. And this is the biggest thing I can tell anybody who doesn't like what we're seeing right now, who may not be fully on board. These are 3 talents that have done this for 10 years. So regardless of what you feel, in an older regime, they would have never even gotten the Credos to the ear to be able to do this stuff.
Correct.
The fact this shows every other talent that if you bust your ass and you get something over and you believe in yourself, it's under a regime now to where you are going to be somewhat in control or be listened to what you bring to the table. Because if you're not going to do this for these three guys, who are you going to do it for? And they truly are. They said it. I think Adam Pearce said it on Monday night. He says the most decorated team in WWE history. And the reason why he said that, and people are like, oh no, it's the Dudleys, that's the Usos, that's this, that's that. When he says decorated, I think he's saying it in the context of not just tag team championship wins. You go look at all the titles and accolades that all three members have had. The Shield had theirs, don't get me wrong, but then they've been broke up now for over 10 years. These dudes did it 10 years, 8 years strong together. 2 WWE championship runs, multiple tag team title wins. Kofi single-handedly is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Then you got them together with tag team championship runs. Then you got intercontinental championship runs with Big E, United States runs with Kofi, intercontinental title runs with Kofi.
Here, I got accolades.
Go ahead.
WWE Championship twice, Kingston and Big E. Intercontinental Championship one time, Big E. WWE Raw Tag Team Champions 4 times. SmackDown Tag Champions 7 times. NXT Tag Team Champions once. This is just while they were as the New Day.
Okay.
Woods, King of the Ring. Kingston becomes the 13th Grand Slam champion, 20th overall. Kingston and Big E are both Triple Crown champions. Kingston and Woods are tag team Triple Crown champions. SmackDown Tag Team Championship Tournament. They won that.
Mm-hmm.
Kingston and Daniel Bryan had Match of the Year at 35. They were named the Men's Tag Team of the Year in 19. They had the Moment of the Year in 19 with Kingston winning the title. They had the Ring Gear of the Year in 2020. They were ranked number 1 of the top 50 greatest tag teams of all time in 2021. And then when you think about Kofi Kingston, just without being in the New Day, he's a 4-time Intercontinental Champion. He's a 3-time United States Champion. He's a World Tag Team Champion with CM Punk.
Yep.
A Raw Tag title, once with Evan Bourne, once with R-Truth. And then you go to Big E, right? Mm-hmm. And Big E's championships in WWE title, NXT title, a 2-time Intercontinental Champion, right? I mean, good God Almighty! And then Xavier, right? He was the 3rd triple tag. Yeah, I mean, it all is all.
Yeah.
Right? So these guys have a plethora of gold between them. Yes. I would argue that they have more gold between them than the Shield did.
You'd be right. I think as far as, I mean, and that's solely because Moxie's been going now for what, 5 years, 6 years?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's. I think that right now the New Day has the lead on that. Now, if you were to throw in at the end of the day, if you look at the faction of the Bloodline, that's a different story. That's a different story because not so much because of the Usos, obviously multiple tag team titles. Jay's won Intercontinental title run, but if you look at the titles Sammy has had, and then you go look at just Roman's litany test is just ridiculous.
Right, but when you look at just under the banner the New Day, under the banner the Bloodline, under the banner the Shield, right? The New Day titles, just titles. 2, 3, 7.
He's doing math, people.
15. Do we count the King of the Ring or no?
Yes.
All right, so 16.
I wish that King of the Ring win would have came with the step that Gunther's came with now.
Yeah. So what is this? What did I say? So 3, 4, 7, 14, 15, 16.
What up, boss?
16, just under the banner of the New Day. The Shield, 1, 3, 6, 7, 8. The Bloodline, and this is the bloodline as a whole, both sides, both iterations of it. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6.
Yeah.
So the New Day has double.
Yeah, almost triple.
The Shield and almost triple the Bloodline. While granted, the Bloodline as a faction is still fairly new, that's fair. But then when you look at the Shield and how long they ran, right?
Yeah.
And how dominant they were. Right? Because I would argue, even if I look at just Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns, right? He does not have the amount of titles I don't think he does.
Kofi is in that Miz era, bro. Like Kofi is like, you don't think about it really. It doesn't hit you at a certain point. But if you think about it, like, dude, 10 years, one company, he got started in business with WWE. He never left. He probably he's a WWE lifer. And to have as many title reigns as he's had, like,
no, Roman's had 9 championships in WWE.
Kofi's way beyond that.
100%.
Kofi may have the most ever, honestly.
Kofi has, all right, so 1, 5, 8, 14,
exactly.
21, 22, 23. Technically, he won the bragging rights trophy, so that's 24. So the man's got 24. What'd I say for Roman? 8?
8. Now, obviously, Roman's been more impactful.
But well, yeah, but who gives a damn?
24? I don't know if there's...
Triple that. He is triple Roman.
Seth Rollins may come close. Here we go.
I'm going to say Seth may come close.
2, 3, 5, 6, 8.
The way you had to look up and go 10, up on numbers.
Because the way it's worded on here. Fuck, I lost count. 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 10, 16, 17 with Money in the Bank, 18 with Men's Royal Rumble.
I think the only person, not even looking at anything, I don't have any cheat sheet. I think the only person that's going to come close, solely WWE, is Trips. I think that's the only person. Trips and Randy, maybe. That's the only two that I could think of that'll come close.
Triple H, 9 and 5 is 14.
Yeah.
That's 19. Yeah. 21, 22, 24. 2-time King of the Ring, so that's 26. I'm sorry, we're with 1-time King of the Ring, that's 27.
And then Randy may eclipse that. Because remember, Randy's a 14-time world champion. So that's 14 just right there. That's not tag. That's not intercontinental when he's going back and forth for Rob Van Dam.
15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. It's only 23.
All right, so it's just Trips. So that's rarefied air. I mean, okay, maybe Cena too. I forgot. How did I forget about Cena? Because Cena's what, 16 world time?
Yeah.
Probably got
Cena in WWE. 16, 21, 23, 25.
Yeah, Cena
Two-time Money in the Bank puts him at 27. And then, I'm sorry, 2-time Royal Rumble puts him at 27. And then the Money in the Bank.
28.
28.
Yeah. So about one more than Trips.
Yeah.
But even that, so if you go Trips, well, Cena, Trips, and then Kofi, as far as just how many times, and who's to say, and that's to this date, based on your plan, like Kofi has 1 or 2 more title runs in him.
Correct.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just to say, like, yo, like what we're watching, they earned it. what we saw Monday night was special because from the standpoint of in this day and age to give the fans something that they truly, truly didn't see coming because E was so far off screen and removed from the week to week TV that we saw, for him to come back and everybody think he's going to come back to save the day, just to be the fuel for the fire, for him to get the bullets into him. He's not even catching strays at this point. They directly aimed at him. You know what I mean? Crosshairs was on him. He became the target. All that venomous stuff that they had towards each other, he was the target. And the biggest thing is not this past Monday, but the Monday before last. Before that, you never heard E spoke about. It wasn't until Kofi said, "Why do you think me and E never let you run with the ball?" Now I wish they would have got more into the fact of, remember, it says since last Monday, me and Woods have talked. And we didn't, and that's when E Music hit. We didn't get any more into that. You know what I mean? So, but it was well done. It was well executed. I mean, I think Monday Night Raw this past week was probably one of the better. It almost felt like a Mania after Raw. Felt like a Raw after Mania, I should say. My bad. Felt like a Raw after Mania from the standpoint of it's set up. You close doors on certain one thing, and you set up so much more. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, Drew's beef isn't with the new bloodline because we didn't see him. He can't get on Jimmy. I'm curious to see what they do when Roman comes back. He's already taken out Jay. He's already taken out Sammy. You know what I mean? So, like you saw these things. I mean, the first 30 minutes, dude. Oh, if we want to switch gears out of the poll question or get to some of these comments before we do, the first 30 minutes of Raw was you talk about some truth. That's the best. That's one of the best things I can say about the promos right now. The promos right now are Raw. They're using real life shit, and we're seeing it on TV. Everything that the IWC already knows, and people have thought that we forgot about. And now it's it's good to see creative going back to that and say, hey, like I acknowledge the fact that this happened. We're gonna use it again. We're gonna go back to it.
So
you know what I mean?
You know, it got me thinking, like, who would have more WWE titles than, you know, Kofi, Triple H? There's an interesting number that comes up.
Miz May.
I haven't checked the Miz yet, but there's a very interesting number that comes up with somebody we haven't thought of yet. Would you like to guess? And the number's 35.
The first letter? Is the first letter of this?
The number's 35.
Okay.
R-Truth?
No, we're not counting the 24/7 title.
You count everything else? Why not?
Is the first letter of the talent's name start with the E?
Yes.
Edge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Edge has held the WWF, WWE World, whatever you want to call them. He has held tag team titles 14 times.
How many different partners?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, I can see it. And he's multiple. I don't think he ever had the United. He may have had the United States title.
Yeah. Well, when it was the WCW, when they did the invasion and they still were calling it the WCW United States title, that's when he held it.
And I know he's had the IC title. Obviously, he's had World Heavyweight Championship. He's had he's had the World Heavyweight Championship more than he had WWE.
Yeah, he's the 14th Triple Crown champion, 3rd Grand Slam champion.
Yeah, I can see it.
I mean, he legit did it all.
Yeah, I can see it. And you think about his career, really. I mean, his career was 15 years. When did he retire? 2013? Was it 11?
11.
2011?
He was gone for 9 years.
Okay. That's right. That sounds about right, yeah.
12, 17, 19, 21.
Yeah, Don said, "Did we see the injuries that came out of that war grant, bro? It's different." And like I was watching, listening to another pod, and I was listening to Busted Open all week. It's different when you step up to the top rope, you're jumping off, and so you're reaching an apex, and then you're coming down, so you're in more control. When you're doing anything off the top of the cage, it's just a straight up descent. Why? I don't know if producers and they didn't have the knowledge to say, hey, maybe we should get some stunt guys in here. You guys should take some falls to know what to do with your feet, because you can see both for Bronson and Jimmy, like their feet were taking the impact.
So how much of that though, and again, none of us have been that high up and decided, you know what, I think I'm going to jump from here. Yeah. How much of that is they jumped an instinct?
Oh yeah, you get familiarity and what you're doing, but that's why, like when KO did it, it's in that spot. I almost wish Jimmy would have did the corkscrew moonsault onto it, because that way you have protection.
The splash was fine. I don't think he tucked his feet back enough.
Right, and that's the same thing with Bronson too. Whoever's idea wasn't for Bronson to get in that spot, I probably would have used Jacob for that, because Jacob could have did a swanton. Like anybody who's doing the flip over or coming on their back, they're not your feet, and that they're not in that type of danger. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I wish, like, the one foot is broken. I don't know about the other one, but I mean, it sucks. I still think he's going to be red hot when he comes back. I hope. I don't know how long he's going to be out. Well, he may have a chance to be back by Rumble, because Rumble's in February now, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's February 1st.
That thing looked pretty damn broken.
Didn't Cole say tonight he's scheduled to have surgery?
I think he already had the surgery yesterday, maybe? I could be wrong.
Or was that Tongaloa?
It might have been Tongaloa that was scheduled to have surgery.
Yeah, his bicep.
Bronson was supposed to have surgery too.
Yeah.
They both got messed up.
Right, I didn't even know about Tonga's in it.
I didn't either. I didn't know about Tonga till tonight.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing. All week, nobody said anything about Tonga till tonight.
Because no one cared about him.
Damn.
But in all honesty, the way that if Bronson would have been there with the new bloodline from the start, from its inception, I say that's a big miss. But he was hot on his own. He got that rub. I still think he'll be fine. Tonga, this is almost a blessing in disguise, because they can repackage him or do whatever. But now, what we saw tonight, those three, oh God, you got the one dude who's just everything at Tama, and then Jacob doing the icky shuffle and putting the prayer hands up. You know what I mean? So, like, that's I'm worried if I'm someone in the locker room. I'm more concerned with those three versus that five. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because now they're motivated. They lost. Something didn't go their way. His power has been tested. You know what I mean? So,
and he's losing members.
Yeah.
Temporarily, but albeit he's losing members due to injury.
Daily from Hockey Talk says, "What's up, Greg? All around performer. What's up, fellas? What up, boys?"
So, just
to
drop in here for a second.
Go ahead.
Bronson Reed out with a broken foot. Surgery's planned for next week. Okay. Tongaloa torn bicep. He had his surgery. Jimmy Uso broken toe, out while it heals.
Okay.
Well, at least he don't have to have surgery, thankfully.
Nah, but toe, man, you ever like sprain the toe? But it's like you don't realize how much
stubbing your toes sucks.
Your fingers and your toes. That shit sucks.
Brother, just stubbing your toes suck.
Yeah. Like putting socks on every step. You're a bipedal organism, so you gotta use your feet to get around.
This man throwing out college level words. Bipedal.
Right, man. That's like freshman anatomy, bro.
He used big brain words.
We're talking to Butters here, man.
I mean, AKA
like, you, Andy.
You're what? Look, bitch. Don't make me have to hurt you.
So if Andy's a raw meatball, I'm a cooked meatball. Butter is like the meatball that fell on the floor and rolled
This
around.
Sounds so bad.
And it got some fuzz on it, and now you're debating what you're going to do with it.
I am not meatball from Aqua.
He's a meatball that rolled out.
You're a Swedish. Matter of fact, listen, Viking Swedish meatball. There you go. I mean, I'm not. I won't say your last name, but fuck if your last name probably doesn't have some Eastern European root somewhere.
Oh my god!
It's Anders.
You said it. I didn't say it.
I'm gonna look it up. But oh my god!
I think it's more Scottish than anything.
I know Butter's new theme song.
What? Say it, biznitch.
Hold on, I gotta make sure I'm right.
Tomorrow, like next Friday is the 13th. I think you got tattoos already. Go to a tattoo parlor and just go get Valhalla tattooed on you somewhere.
Yeah,
I don't have any.
It's on top of spaghetti is your new theme song.
I don't have any tattoos, Pete.
That fits for meatball or butter.
I didn't mean to stir this pot, sir. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you stirred that pot of meatballs all right.
Hey, man. I came out looking good. I'm a barbecue meatball over here. Fucking eat them all day, baby.
Wait.
Dip me in
I looked up Anders. I looked up the origin for Anders. Anders is a male name in Scandinavian language.
I told you.
And very North Thracian, an equivalent of the Greek Andreas and the English Andrew. It originated from Andres via. That's no. I know the word, but I've never seen the word. Fuck it. That's not. I don't care about that. In Sweden, Anders has been one of the most common names for centuries. Earliest attested in 1378.
Wow.
This is gold.
Like I know my ancestors came from England, bro. Evans it's an English surname.
Oh man, this is fun. I love these moments.
Yeah, look, Butters is not. He's quiet, not by choice. Now people have shut him up. You're welcome and good night.
Thank you and good night. All right, so this is normally the time where I look at Butters and I say, Butters, what do you want to talk about?
Oh, Lord.
Because This Week in Wrestling segment, in my opinion, always divulges into Butters finding something that's going to just absolutely piss me off about the world of professional wrestling. Because there's a lot. Like, we can never just cover one thing in a show, or in the second segment. And to try to narrow a week down into what the general masses are going to care about, it's tough.
Yep.
So I usually leave it up to my Viking friend down there. Yeah, that's sticking for a while. And Pete, feel free to join in. What do you want to talk about?
So, couple things. First one's a small one. Jesse Ventura is back as an announcer for Saturday night's main event.
Tell me you were planning to have Vince McMahon without telling me you were planning to have Vince McMahon.
Mm-hmm. with a fucking Carhartt sorting hat. Matter of fact, what's in the mule, Butters? What's in the mug? Is that butterbeer?
I hate alcohol.
The opportunities keep presenting themselves. I'm sorry.
Thanks.
Tonight it was announced that with the Netflix, with the move to Netflix for Raw, they have opened up a talent trade window to potentially swap superstars across brands, NXT, Smackdown, and Raw. Thoughts, gentlemen?
Tell me, this carries. Tell me you're gonna put Roman on Raw without telling me you're gonna put Roman on Raw.
Telling me you're gonna put Roman and Cody on Raw.
Yeah, Roman and Cody.
So that means pretty much what we thought we were going to get with next week's Saturday Night Main Event. We do because remember I was vehemently saying Cody's dropping.
Yeah.
Cody's
or they swap everybody.
Well, you could put KO on Raw with Cody. You would have Seth, KO, McIntyre, Cody, and Roman all on Raw.
And Punk.
Are they definitely going back to 3 hours?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're potentially also looking to move SmackDown to 3 hours.
Yeah, I can see USA. I can see USA wanting to do that.
So you have 2 3-hour shows. Dear Lord, that's a lot of wrestling.
Plus the 2 hour NXT. But we have. I just want them to be able. I just need Netflix to be able to execute the live. That's it.
Correct.
I just
so supposedly Netflix has come out and said they have fixed their buffering issue for their live.
Okay.
Whether or not they have, we will see come January 1st. But as of right now,
it's January 6th because the last Raw.
Oh yeah.
Of 2024 is the 30th.
Mm-hmm.
It is here in Houston, and surprise, we're gonna be
there. 13. Oy.
Nope. I got so many jokes for that. I'm gonna keep them to myself.
Is that your shirt size? I mean, damn.
Whose? His?
NXT Deadline is this weekend.
Okay.
For some reason, I got it mixed up, thinking Saturday night's main event was this weekend when it's actually Deadline this weekend. Do what?
I said that's next weekend.
So we have two matches: the women's and the men's.
That's all that's on that card?
No.
Keep talking.
NXT Deadline.
I got it. All right, so the men's Iron Survivor. Wesley versus Javon Evans versus Nathan Frazier versus Ethan Page versus Eddie Thorpe.
That ought to be a decent match. I think Javon Evans could come out of this one on top.
I think so too.
I think he would be a good candidate to come out on top and get a fresh face. I wouldn't exactly say a fresh face, but a fresh face in the title hunt.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Where is that man, Pete?
Yeah, he said he'll be right back.
Okay.
Sol Ruca versus Stephanie Vaquer versus Azaria versus Julia versus Ren Sinclair.
Now, this is a match I think is going to be match of the night.
Easily.
You have all this talent in these. You have basically all the top talent in your women's division in one big match.
Yeah. It's a dangerous match.
You just brought in Stephanie, Vaquer, Julia, Zaria. I mean, these three just came in. They're already in your top match for the end of the year.
Yep.
Sol Ruca, who has been put on match after match. You know, one of our favorites, Ren Sinclair. You know,
what? Selfishly, I'm pulling for her.
Oh yeah, of course.
Right. I don't see it ultimately being her, but selfishly, I'm pulling for her.
But how great would that be to just the upset?
100%.
Because you've also got later on in that night or earlier in the night, depending on where they put the women's match.
Yeah.
You have her team, her no quarter catch crew buddies going for the tag team titles. I mean, what kind of night
I think they're winning.
What kind of night would that say, you know, that you just had that, you know, your no quarter catch crew just won all their matches for the night and they're all big matches.
Yep.
You know, your leader is, you know, he's rooting for all. He wants both would win. I mean, what kind of, how do you say it? How would you say it? You know, how big of a high would he be on? Is both the tag team and Ren Sinclair won that night?
I don't disagree. I'm gonna pull him out for a second.
Okay.
I'm not staring at a random number.
You know, to your point, you know, the tag team titles. Frazier and Axiom versus No Quarter Catch Crew. No Quarter Catch Crew should be winning this one easy.
I think so, and I think you see the breakup of Frazier and Axiom here.
They've teased it so damn much. I'm ready for them to pull the trigger.
I think you definitely see it here. I think they're just waiting for the right tag team to kind of get in line and get ready and be ready for this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Lola Vice, Jada Parker. I was not excited for this. I didn't give a damn for this. this feud until Tuesday.
I missed Tuesday. Tell me what happened.
I don't know how we end up here. I don't know if it happened on NXT or if it happened earlier in the night. I was out, but I got the clip sent to me. Jada Parker coming down to the ring. She's telling him to take the ring ropes off. Lola Vice, you want to hit me with a brick? You want an underground match? You got it. Get your ass out here. We're going to do this. And she is not holding anything back. She says, we're going to finish this shit. And they don't catch it on the first playthrough, so it goes. She calls her a bitch. Bitch, get your ass down here. Yeah. Interesting to say the least. And I wish Pete was back because there's more that I won't talk about on air. That was it. No, I have to send you the clip.
I get you.
She has an oopsies.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, I think Jada Parker comes out of this one on top. I mean, Lola could probably stand to use it, but I think Jada, she's in a position right now that she would be the one to come out on top.
Yeah, I think she has to. And then Trick Williams versus Ridge Holland.
I honestly think Trick retains this one.
I do too.
To go along with, so you'd have Javon Evans versus Trick Lee. But I ultimately think Ridge Holland's getting screwed over by somebody from the former Chase University.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't know if I like that call on them breaking up Chase University. I thought it was a great staple for NXT. I thought it was a great constant. It kept a lot of people relevant. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Because you haven't seen them since. They haven't done anything.
I just saw the one clip of Chase closing up the briefcase. That was about it.
Yeah. So Pete, I have to ask you: do you know what happened Tuesday night on NXT involving Jada Parker and Lola Vice?
I mean, I watched it. Are you looking for something in particular?
Yes, there's a moment when she's telling the referee to take the ropes down. Do you know about this moment?
No.
So you clearly haven't heard.
Well, I saw the rope take the ropes down, but was there like a wardrobe malfunction or something like that?
No, there was a word slippage. No. Jada looks at the referee and says a certain word, and here's the sentence. I know you heard me.
Oh, did she say the N-word?
Uh-huh.
Oh, see? You could take the girl from Florida, but you can't take the Florida out the girl. Nope. You could take... Nope.
And the internet blew up with it. Because if you're not paying attention, you don't hear it, number one. Number two, everybody immediately made it a Booker T joke.
Yeah.
With
the old school Harlem Heat promo.
Yep. Hogan, we coming for you.
He's like, ah! He does. Did Jada? So I'll go watch.
No, I think they cut it. They cut the commercial after she said it. I'll pull it up.
But I would love to see her reaction. But that's real. That's real. Like that's her character. That's why like she emotes that. She pigeon-toed as I don't know what, but that's all right.
Oh my.
When I came back, you guys were talking about Chase with the briefcase.
So earlier when we first started talking about Deadline, the men's Iron Survivor, we were talking, seeing Javon Evans winning this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then later, as you just said, Trick Williams versus Ridge Holland. I feel like Ridge Holland's getting screwed out of the title.
Yep. By
some former member of Chase U, so that we'll get Trick Williams versus, say, Javon Evans in probably a banger of a match later on down the line.
Mm-hmm. I like it. Who do we think, though? Who took out Eddie? Forget about that.
I forgot about the
Eddie's not going to be in the Iron Survivor match now, I don't think. I think it's going. Everybody's saying like it probably wanted to be Oba, but there's also a dirt sheet rumor, which we don't get into that often, that Oba is going to be replacing E in the New Day.
Possibly.
Interesting.
Yeah. So if it's not if it's not Oba, even if it is Oba, if you had your choice to pick, who do you want to be in the Iron Survivor now that it's not Eddie? Axiom?
No, they're in the tag title match that night.
It has to be somebody that you think that is it somebody we never seen before?
No.
Is it somebody that we haven't seen in a while? If so, who?
I think it'd probably Duke Hudson.
You think it's Chase itself?
I got one better for you guys.
Uh-oh.
I don't think it's gonna happen. But if you want to see me very happy,
Hendry?
this match, yes.
Ooh.
Yes. Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Oh, that would be ideal. Say if he does, because you get to cash in at any time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, it's saying for New Year's Evil.
New Year's Evil.
Either way.
So
I just know, listen, I love the fact that we're getting a Women's United States title. Not so keen on the IC title. They both are beautiful championships. But NXT Women's Division, there's just, it's sinker. It reminds me of what the Attitude Era was for the men. It's sink or swim. Like, you have to make yourself stand out. There is so much talent. So much talent.
Yep.
I mean, I'm even on board now with I'm catching myself every week watching how Ashanti and Carmen, what they gonna do now.
Yep.
It's just like if this is the new Indian Dexter. You know what I mean? So I don't know, it's weird though, because some talents they come back. You would think that Sean would try to elevate talents that can't, like, so Nikita, I mean, she's came back from injury, happy to see her in the ring, losing. Cora, who I thought they were going to give some steam to, losing. Like, to put, like, to me, Cora would have been the perfect person to put the NXT North America title on versus a Fallon Henley. Not taking nothing away from Fallon, but Cora is just, she stands out on her own.
I mean, part of the problem also stands to be that, they've brought in Stephanie, Julia, Zarya.
Yeah. You stacked your roster as you had people coming back.
Yep. So it's kind of like a little bit of a bad timing.
I think so. I think it was bad timing, to be cleared, but then you want them back on, because if people know they're cleared, it ruins a lot of the shock value.
Yeah, I mean, and to me, how do I say this? Stephanie, Julia, Zarya, aka Delta. Listen, man, that little pop rock shit, that's not believable to keep somebody down for a 3 count. Love rock. You got Zarya out here. She's doing the F5. Like, bro, like, that's a finisher.
Yeah.
And Julia has the knee. I think Stephanie has that neck breaker or knee over the neck or something like that. Dude, whoever wins that, yeah, it's time for. I don't know what else more Roxanne can do in NXT. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. I mean, they've done a really good job lately. He kind of fizzled out in the summer, but lately they've done a really good job with giving, like, Carmelo his time. Carmelo feels valuable without a title, and that's been the last 2, 3, 4 weeks. Obviously, he had the series with Andrade, so they're seeing, like, that transition to NXT. From NXT to the main roster is, it's definitely there, but I definitely think the women's division, you know what I mean? I definitely, and for Stephanie and Julia, I think they already, as far as in ring, can hang with the main roster women. It's just learning the WWE system, getting more acclimated with the WWE product, how they carry themselves on TV, not so much from a talent perspective, right? I mean, Zarya, I think, is already there. I honestly don't know why she's in NXT. Like, you go back and you just watch her matches. Yo, I feel like I'm watching just another version of Rhea, but just with longer hair and does, I would almost say, better moves, or maybe probably is just as strong.
Probably just to polish her up just a little bit before they toss her up. I mean, I wouldn't toss her straight to the main roster, but right away. But I would say at least polish her up just for a couple months and then toss her in.
So Don asks us a question. Who's y'all's guys? I mean, I don't know if that's reading it. I don't think this is proper English.
It's not.
Who are our favorite upper coming wrestlers? You want to do male and female?
Yeah.
Okay.
Butters, you start.
Up and coming, I'd say Ren Sinclair. I've always been a big fan.
Man, isn't she local from you guys?
Yeah. No, I don't think she is.
Well,
I could be wrong.
I thought she was local for you. I know she was in Mission Pro.
That's how we know her.
Yeah, and I know Mission Pro had to kind of put everything on hiatus for right now, but
she's
hopefully
born in Dallas, you bastard.
Oh, I didn't know. My bad.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had her on the show, I think, at least once or twice?
Twice, I think.
Yeah, so I like it. What about your male star?
I say Javon Evans. He's been growing on me.
I don't think people realize he's slight of build. Old boy's like 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's like 6'4", 6'5". Like he got some length with him. So you went straight NXT. You think that question is solely for NXT, or do you think that's main roster as well?
It could be main roster. I mean, he didn't exactly specify.
I would have to think it's an NXT question. One, the question was poised as we were talking about NXT, and NXT has always been that up and coming talent pool that WWE main roster pulls from. So like that's why I think Fallon, what's her last name? Henley?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think she is very much coming into her own.
He clarifies the NXT.
Yeah, I think she's very much coming into her own. I think she's going to do great things with the women's division. She's a great heel.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as you get up to the main roster, sometimes having a solid heel
does wonders for you.
Is forgotten.
Yeah. There's a roster.
Yeah, as far as from the men's side of things, which is crazy because last year I would have said Thea Hale.
Yeah, man. And Thea's, I think she just turned 21.
Yeah, so Thea, I saw Thea's somebody I love, but they've really dropped the ball with Thea a lot, in my opinion. When I think of up and coming male talent, obviously the Javon Evans and everything like that does stand out. And that's kind of the easy answer to go with, but I'm actually going to go away from NXT here. I know he specified NXT, but when I think of Braun Breaker and the transition from NXT to the main roster and how he went from really, because he was dominant in NXT, but when they put a microphone in his hands, he just kind of floundered and died.
Yeah.
And so this resurgence for him, I think it's very fun to watch again. I think that he's found his groove and he knows how to carry himself and how to portray himself. I think the men's division in NXT is a little on the weaker side right now. And I think that's just because, we see these every few years where the men's division does kind of get a little pillaged at a certain point, and they do take some time to build back up. Same thing with the women's division, but the women's division got very lucky because you had a lot of free agents become available and that they went and picked up and they stacked their roster. Yeah. So, I don't want to take the easy answer and say the Javon Evans. Fuck AEW. I don't want to take that easy answer. So that's why I'll go a little bit of a stretch.
Female NXT. I would easy answer for me is probably Jada.
Yeah. Another great answer.
Probably Jada. Male. And now this is definitely, and he's in a match tomorrow. He is on the card. He has an opportunity to win his first championship in NXT in WWE as a company. And that's going to be Diggs from No Quarter Catch Crew.
Okay.
I'll dude, you talk about somebody. Now we don't know his personality yet, hasn't, but like just his in-ring work. Remember, he went over to Japan. He held his own there. I think him and Miles Bourne do capture the tag team titles tomorrow night, bring more championship gold. I would actually love to see the person in the Iron Spot.
Tavion Heights?
Tavion Heights, yeah. What did I say, Diggs?
Yeah.
Yeah, Heights. I made me think about football. I'm sorry. It happens. It happens.
That's why I'm sitting here going, who the hell is he talking about?
Tavion Heights. And he looks different. Like he wears the full leg sleeve with the singlet. It's a little bit different from other guys wearing singlets and that you see on TV. But I definitely think that's a star that's up and coming with. Because I really don't think like you can't go Ridge. You clearly can't, like, this question's not posed for Ridge, not posed for Wes, not posed really even for Nathan. You could say Nathan a little bit, but Nathan to me is NXT's Kofi. Like, you put him in matches just because he can give you a great spot. He can have a great moment in the match. You know what I mean? I will give you, if we're looking at main roster, I will say Ludwig Kaiser. And I think this time next year, we're going to be talking about Dom next year. I think at this point, towards the end of the year, AEW. I'll give you one. I'm not Ritz. If I'm giving you a male in AEW, when you say up and coming, man, that's it really those are just so subject to booking because they go so hot and cold so long. I really want to say I wouldn't be upset if I would have to say Fletcher, man, the Proto Star. I was surprised they gave him the win over Shelton this past Wednesday, but it's in the tournament, so it doesn't matter. I want to say Shelton as well, but at the same time, it's just so hard because you don't know how TK is going to go hot and cold.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You don't know it's going to go hot and cold, and then like you just do stupid shit when you come up with these tournaments and Continental Classics and shit like that. Like Daniel Garcia just won his first singles title,
which is why I don't talk about them.
And I know, but it's just there.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap this. Let's put this on a nice, pretty bow. Let's get out of here for the evening. That is it for us tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We will be back next week with our probably final show of the year, realistically. And we will see you all then for kind of like an end of the year wrap up, recap, and a look towards the future. But until then, tell somebody you love them. For Pete, for Butters, I'm Rich. We'll see you on the other side. Peace, love, and joy. We're out.
Skull.